This Orient Kamasu might be one of the best affordable mechanical watches out there. If you've been looking for an automatic mechanical watch in the $200 to $400 price range, you should really include the Orient Kamasu on your list. Also add to your list rent, retirement, investments, and groceries, but we all know that the watch will bring you happiness faster, and those other things, those are problems for future you. I don't know why it's taken me this long to look at any watch from Orient. I see them around and people seem to enjoy them. And I love affordable watches from Japan. I'm not joking when I say that the logo might actually be to blame for my tardiness, and we'll get into that. Orient is a little confusing when you start looking at the company. Orient is owned by Seiko Epson, which is not the same as Seiko. Seiko Epson is also just known as Epson, the printer company. But it is related to Seiko, the watch company. The two have a few of the same shareholders, and Seiko Epson and Seiko share some watchmaking tech and facilities. The rest you can read on Wikipedia if you need a good natural sleep aid. The two watches I've seen the most from Orient are the dressy Bambino and the divey Makeo. And here's more confusion for you. The Makeo 3 is nearly identical to this Kamasu that I have here. The differences are visual, the hands, the markers, and the bezel printing. Otherwise, they are the same. Of course, Orient USA doesn't use the name Makeo 3, even though they sell the watch, and I can't with this. Let's just talk about the Kamasu. In Japanese, Kamasu means barracuda, which is a fish that was named after one of the best songs by the rock band Heart. And this Kamasu, the watch, not the fish, is an interesting one in the lineup because it has a DLC coating and it doesn't actually come on a bracelet. It comes on a rubber dive strap. The bracelet I'm showing in some of these clips is made by Strapcode for the Kamasu watches, and I'm not in contact with Strapcode, I don't know them, but the owner of this watch bought this bracelet, so here we are. Is it weird to buy a bracelet for a watch when the bracelet costs almost half as much as the watch? I don't know, at this price point, maybe not. This Kamasu, like all other Kamasus, has a steel case that's 41.8 millimeters wide, 12.8 millimeters thick, and 47 millimeters long. It has 22 millimeter lugs. It has a water resistance of 200 meters, and it uses a sapphire crystal on the front. The back has a solid steel case back. It uses the Orient caliber F6922. Wow, in-house movements. It hacks, it hand winds, and we'll talk more about it. The list price for this watch on the Orient website is $325, and I've seen this elsewhere brand new for $230. So I'm just going to say that this is a $300 watch. 41.8 millimeters by 12.8 millimeters thick on my 7-inch wrist. 42 by 13 really. This feels like a 40 millimeter watch to me. And I wonder if Orient markets this as 41.8 millimeters because they know that some people might see 42 millimeters and immediately turn away, but you shouldn't. This really feels like a 40 millimeter dive watch to me. That's how it feels and that's how it looks, especially with the 47 millimeter length. It's got the legs of a smaller watch. That's right, I called the lugs legs. The vented rubber dive strap this comes on is good. It's very comfortable. I don't know why companies keep doing this though, why they keep putting watches on straps designed for diving when ain't nobody diving with this thing. This strap has these ridges, these expansion ridges, but it'd be a lot cooler if it didn't. Still, very comfortable. On looks, especially this black and gold combo, this is not really my thing. Not on the strap or on the DLC bracelet. But there are elements here that are on all the Kamasu that I do like. The sides of the case are polished while the tops of the lugs have a radial brushing. The bezel and bezel insert have some character. I like that the bezel has these kind of notches at 5 and 15 and 25 and so on. I also like the dial marker shapes. I like them much more than the rounded markers you find on Seiko 5 watches. I just prefer the rectangular and trapezoidal shapes on the Kamasu. The day and date window surrounds the frame around the day and date. They look like they belong on a more expensive watch. I'm kind of impressed. And the hour hand, I don't know if this is intended, but the hour hand reminds me of the tooth of a barracuda. Now that logo, it's Baroque, it's old looking, maybe it's fine on the Bambino watch, which is much more classically styled, but I just dislike it here. Probably the original idea decades ago was an attempt to position the watches as being from an old tradition of European watchmaking, but it just makes it seem out of place here. So I took the liberty of creating a new Orient logo. Orient, this one is free to use, you're getting such a deal, graphic design is my passion. Now the movement. The Orient F6922 has about 40 hours of power reserve and is rated to about plus or minus 15 seconds per day. Different sources claim different things on the official accuracy of this movement. I can tell you that I actually timed this watch and it was plus 7 seconds per day, which is very, very good for a watch at $300. Now, when I look at the competition for this watch at this price, two other Japanese dive watches come to mind, the Seiko 5 SRP-J39 and the Citizen ProMaster Dive NY0 something something. I picked the Seiko because it also has a black coating, which sometimes costs more. But all of these watches, the Orient, the Seiko, and the Citizen, are automatic divers on straps for under $450. The Citizen is about $100 more than the Orient and the Seiko. The latter two cost about $300. But the Orient Kamasu beats the other two watches in a few places. First, sapphire crystal. Now the more expensive Citizen has sapphire, but the Seiko does not. Also, the Seiko only has 100 meters of water resistance versus the Orient's 200 meters, and again, these are the same price. And then when we go back to the movement, on the Orient, plus or minus 15 seconds per day. The Citizen 8204 movement is rated for minus 20 to plus 40 seconds per day, and the Seiko 4R36 is rated to plus 45 to minus 35 seconds per day. The Orient, on paper, is at least twice as accurate as the other two watches and possibly the least expensive of the three. Also, it's smaller than the other two watches, which I think a lot of small-wristed nerds prefer. Now, do you like how the Kamasu watches look? I can't help you there, but if you do, I think you're in luck because from what I see here, by some measures, the Kamasu could be the best $300 mechanical dive watch you can buy. Not that you should, you probably should not buy a mechanical watch. But if you must buy one, and if you're watching this video and you are, then you probably must. And with that being the case, then this one is a pretty good one.